Good afternoon, everyone. I hereby call the regular meeting of the Administrative Appeals Board of June 17th, 2026 to order. Board Secretary, can you take the roll call?
Board Member Barbado.
Here.
Board Member Faulkner.
Here.
Board Member Hines.
Here.
Board Member Curran.
Here.
And Chair Vasili.
Here.
5 members present.
First item, our next item on the agenda is the acceptance of the agenda. The board can discuss and may amend the order of the agenda. Before we go ahead and post a motion, do any of the board members have any questions about the agenda?
No.
Okay, then I'll set the motion. I make a motion that we accept the agenda.
Second.
Okay, Board Secretary, can you take the vote, please?
Chair Vasili.
Aye.
Board Member Hines.
Aye.
Board Member Barbado.
Aye.
Board Member Faulkner.
Aye.
Board Member Curran.
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you. The next item is the public comment. This time has been set aside for members of the public to address the board on items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. 3 minutes will be assigned to each speaker. Although the board values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, the board generally cannot accept or cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. Testimony for the hearings will only be taken at the time of the hearings. Please begin the public comment period.
We have no public commenters.
Okay, then let's move on to the next item on the agenda. This is item number 4A concerning the property at 3030 Vincetta Road. It's an appeal of administrative decision for a 2-year suspension of the vacation rental registration certificate. Board Secretary, can you please ensure that the city staff and the appellant understand that their testimony is under oath?
We have signed affidavits from city staff and the appellant is on Zoom. Anyone on Zoom who desires to testify under this appeal hearing under the laws of perjury, if you choose to speak, you hereby accept and acknowledge that your testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Great, thank you. Can we start with the city staff, and can you please present your report?
Yes, good afternoon, Chair, board members. My name is Patrick Clifford with the Department of Special Program Compliance, and we oversee the vacation rental program here in the city of Palm Springs. Before you this afternoon is the staff report related for the property at 3030 East Vincentia Road here in Palm Springs. The matter before you is that the city's code compliance department, we've issued 3 citations within a 12-month period for this property, which then triggers a 2-year suspension for having 3 violations in a 12-month period. Specifically with this case, these 3 citations were issued with the same violation date of March 9th, 2026. Staff notes that citation AB0804 in violation of Palm Springs Municipal Code section 5.25070H due to failure to submit a contract summary carries a penalty of $2,500 and a 6-month suspension, which that suspension, any appeal of this suspension is governed by Palm Springs Municipal Code 52509F and the Palm Springs Municipal Code related to the Administrative Appeals Board. Additionally, citation A7766 issued in the amount of $20,000, which was the 3rd administrative citation issued pursuant to the administrative regulation dated in 2017. That procedure states that any appeals of the 3rd administrative citation, along with the associated suspension of the vacation rental certificate, shall be heard by the Administrative Appeals Board. And given that both citation AB0804 and citation A7766 are subject to the appeal of the Administrative Appeals Board, staff recommends that both matters be presented to and adjudicated by the Administrative Appeals Board. Some background with this property is that the property has been a registered vacation rental with certificate number 051616 with a start date of September 1, 2022. Collectively, there's ordinances with the city that governs operations, both from what guests, how their conduct is at the vacation rental property, but as well as operational conduct from an owner. 5.25070 B establishes that permittees are not permitted more than 32 vacation rental contracts in a calendar year, and however they are an additional 4 contracts in the third quarter. So At a point, property can rent 36 times in a calendar year. Additionally, 5.250708 specifies that with each short-term rental contract, a summary of such contract shall be submitted to the city prior to occupancy. So this appeal arises from an audit review that was conducted by the Department of Special Program Compliance to verify compliance with our vacation rental ordinance. During the audit, staff requested reservation records, signed rules and regulation forms, and supporting documents for all guest stays that occurred in the calendar year of 2025. In conducting this review, staff compared information provided directly by the property owner with information publicly available through the property's Airbnb and VRBO listings. The audit revealed significant discrepancies between the reservations reported to the city and the number of guest stays reflected through the hosting platforms. A key component of staff's analysis involved guest reviews. Airbnb's own policies provide that reviews are tied to completed stays and can only be submitted after a reservation has been concluded. In other words, a review is evidence that an occupancy occurred. Staff found no evidence that Airbnb permits property owners to generate fictitious guest reviews or create reviews without an associated completed reservation. When staff compared the owner property reservation report against the reviews associated with the property's Airbnb and VRBO listings, a consistent pattern emerged showing substantially more occupancies than were reported to the city. The findings were not based on a single review or an isolated discrepancy, but rather a dozen of occupancies indicators across multiple booking platforms. As a result of this analysis, staff concluded that the property experienced 76 guest stays during the audit period, exceeding the maximum number of authorized contracts permitted under the municipal code. The audit further revealed that numerous occupancies occurred without corresponding contract summaries being submitted to the city and without required signed and rules and regulations forms being maintained. Staff believes the audit methodology was reasonable, the evidence was reliable, and the resulting citations and suspension were issued in accordance with the requirements of our Palm Springs Municipal Code. Additionally, the code compliance officer that conducted the audit is here and available to provide further information between the audit and the communication with the property owner. And I would like to invite that code compliance officer to the table for further information, and we're available for any questions after that. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. All right, just speak.
Yep, my name is Dustin Wade. I am a code compliance officer with the City of Palm Springs. Among my responsibilities is conducting investigations into alleged violations of the city's vacation and rental ordinance, including the more complex and significant cases involving potential violations of annual rental limits, reporting requirements, and other regulatory provisions. On January 14th, 2026, I initiated an audit of the vacation rental property located at 3030 East Vincentia Road. The property was being managed by an agency registered with the city that had been subject of previous audit reviews, which resulted in violations being determined at multiple properties they represented, including renting in excess of the yearly contract limits and failing to submit required contract summaries. During the initial stages of my investigation into the property presented before you this afternoon, I identified similar concerning compliance trends and reporting methods that have been substantiated as deliberate practices to subvert the intent of the vacation rental ordinance by maximizing occupancy and return on investment and operate knowingly in violation. As part of that review, I documented publicly available reviews from web-based booking platforms tied specifically to the subject property. 63 reviews were evidenced from the property's Airbnb.com listing, and 4 reviews were evidenced from the property's VRBO.com listing for calendar year 2025. This property is registered and designated as an existing permittee, which means its yearly contract limit is set at a maximum of 36 vacation rental contracts per calendar year. I contacted the owner, Mr. Demian, on January 20th, 2026 to introduce myself and advise him of my audit. Provided the relevant code authorities within the vacation rental ordinance that details our city's audit requirements, and subsequently made my request for information and submission deadlines. A copy of the audit notification letter is included in the staff report as attachment number 4. Over the following weeks, I communicated with Mr. Demian regarding the requested records, including granting additional time to provide certain documentation due to a family emergency. On March 9th, 2026, the owner submitted an Airbnb reservation report and signed statement of rules and regulations via email. The submitted records reflected 31 Airbnb bookings and 31 signed statements of rules and regulations. City records reflected 32 submitted contract summaries for the property during the calendar year 2025, comprising 31 through our city's GovOS compliance tracking platform and 1 through our supplemental platform JotForm. During my review, I identified several discrepancies. The JotForm contract summary was not reflected in the Airbnb reservation report provided by the owner, and no corresponding statement of rules and regulations was provided for that stay. Additionally, the 4 evidence stays that were facilitated via the vrbo.com web hosting platform that were documented during the investigation were not reflected in any of the records submitted by the owner. I also compared the owner submitted reservation records with the property's transient occupancy tax filings made to the city's finance department. The August 2025 TOT filing submitted by the property owner's agent reported $8,943.20 in receipts. Yet the reservation records provided by Mr. Demian reflected that no bookings had occurred that month. The September 2025 TOT filing by the property owner's agent reported $7,529.20 in receipts, while the owner provided an Airbnb reservation report that reflected stay costs totaling $16,472.48 for the same month. To determine the total number of stays at the property, I compared all available records, including platform reviews, contract summaries, reservation reports, statement of rules and regulations, and TOT filings. Web booking platforms such as Airbnb.com have strict guest review policies and technological safeguards to ensure that reviews are not manipulated and directly relate to a confirmed stay after the stay has been completed. Airbnb also provides that for home rentals, only the guest who booked the reservation may submit a review, even if the booked stay is ultimately shared with other registered guests on the platform. As a result, each review represents evidence of at least one separate stay at the property for at least one night. vrbo.com has policies and safeguards that essentially mirror these same guest review policies. When I compared the available records, I found that 23 Airbnb reviews corresponded with contract summary submissions to the city. I also found 9 contract summaries without a corresponding review. More significantly, I identified 44 total Airbnb and VRBO reviews that did not correspond with any contract summary and were not reflected in the reservation records provided by the owner. Based on this comparison, I determined there was evidence of at least 76 separate stays at the property during calendar year 2025. That total consists of 32 stays evidenced by contract summaries submitted to the city, and 44 additional stays evidenced by Airbnb and VRBO reviews that were not reflected in either the submitted contract summaries or the reservation records provided by the owner. Because the city's ordinance limits the property to a maximum of 36 stays per calendar year, the evidence found establishes that the property exceeded the allowable limit of 36 total contracts 40 separate times. Based on these findings, I issued citation A7766 for exceeding the annual contract, with $500 penalties assessed for each separate infraction that the property operated in excess of the 36 allowable yearly limit. Citation AB0804 for a single $2,500 penalty for failing to submit a contract summary prior to each applicable occupancy. And citation A7767 for a single $500 penalty for failure to secure the signature of the responsible party and all adult guests to a statement of rules and regulations prior to or within 24 hours of the arrival of the guest at the vacation rental. I wanted to draw attention to attachment number 5, which is the evidentiary kind of data grid that I use to document these cases. Each column is reflective of where I'm getting the data and what's included in it. So that first submitted summary, those are the contract summaries that the owner has submitted to either GovOS or JotForm. You can see down a ways. There is one that was bolded. That was because that one came from JotForm and needed to be documented separately. via this, via the grid. The next column is Airbnb reviews. So those are all the reviews that are listed on the listing. I documented the month that they took place and the name associated with them so I could tie them to the other data on this grid. The Airbnb submittal represents what the owner has submitted to us in their reservation report. So those are all, if that's all green, then we have a submitted summary and we have a submittal that's corresponding on the hosting platform. If the Airbnb reviews is green or not is sort of neither here nor there, just because you don't have to leave a review. So there may not be a corresponding review to a stay. So VRBO reviews is the same. That's the ones I pulled from the website. VRBO submittals is the owner-provided submittals, which there was nothing regarding that. Booking and booking submittal, that's a different platform on there. So I was able to pull the arrival and departure date from either the submitted summary, which is required when you submit a summary to the city, or the Airbnb submittal. So I have my arrival and departure date for those. Gross receipts is kind of confusing. That top number is for the month, what they've reported as TOT. So that's what they've reported as their gross receipts for that month. Nights, it just pulls how many nights if we have that information. Stay cost is what is shown on the Airbnb report for what was collected. That's part of what the Airbnb reports have. And then I just break it down by price per night. The next column is the rules and regulations forms. If it's there, it's green. If it's not, it's red. So that's if there's a submitted summary and not a rules and regs, it pops that bright red. So some things of note on this is that support the findings is that if you look at the price per night, it varies widely. We're talking anywhere from $400 a night to almost $3,000 a night. That doesn't add up to me. We see a lot of prices spike in like Coachella and stuff. They up their prices and stuff. So we'll see that. But these numbers are coming from, just random months. They just have a wild number in there. So that's where the data all comes from and what all gets combined to provide the findings that we have here. So I also just want to clarify, I pulled the information from Airbnb regarding how reviews can be submitted, and they are very precise about what can happen. For a homestay, they only allow one review per stay. The whole group can't leave a review, nor do the narratives of the reviewers reflect something like that, of staying with each other. It just doesn't happen. The other thing is that with Airbnb, they let me just pull this up real quick. It says very clearly who can leave reviews, and there it is. They verify that all stays relate to a genuine stay, service, or experience on Airbnb because it was solely made to inflate ratings will be removed. So right there, the most important part of this is that the reviews do reflect real stays. There are safeguards in place on Airbnb's side, and the data just reflects exactly what we're looking at here, and that's that we have exceeded the stays by 40 stays for the year. We've missed contract summaries, and we've missed statements of rules and regulations. So that concludes my presentation of the investigation and the findings. I'm available to answer any questions anyone may have.
Thank you for that detailed report and for all the work you've put into this. Question that I have is, have you ever spoken directly, either in person or on the phone, like in real time, with either the owner or the owner's agent about these findings?
There was correspondence. I did talk to, I verbally talked to the owner on the phone when I had initiated the once the owner received the findings via the citations, he did reach out to me to rebut the findings. And at that point, I gave him the option to, I outlined the options to appeal if he felt that it was done in error.
So the owner indicated that they didn't agree,
Correct.
but didn't offer any more detail at the time?
I don't know if I can provide that email. I don't believe it was provided.
Oh, is that the one that you sent?
It's one of them. I'm not positive it was provided. But
Oh, you're right.
it was between me and
We
Mr.
can
Dennis.
make a copy of it and get it online and give them copies of it.
Yeah, if you want to. I mean, the appellant should have a copy of it because it's their,
We'll post it on there.
they emailed it. But the appellant in the email and in his argument was stating that it's not, that we are not allowed to,
We meaning the city or?
we meaning the investigators and the city, cannot use hosting platform reviews as confirmed stays. He
That was
said-
the only,
He said, you
response?
can't do that, you have to, I'm not gonna try and say what it says, you'll see a copy of it shortly.
okay.
But that was his response, was that that those can't be used as confirmed stays, which I hope I have expressed how it can be. He also said that the excess stays were paid promotions to inflate the reviews in this email. He said that's what those were there for, which you can't do.
Paid promotion.
I believe it was paid promotions.
So
It was
a review but there wasn't a stay?
a review that there wasn't a stay. And so I'll draw the kind of correlation here. If there was a review, the only way to have a review is to have a stay. And if you have a stay, then it would be reflected in the reservation report. So you can't have a review without it showing up on the reservation report.
Right.
And so, it gets confusing, but I don't have a way currently to confirm that what is submitted to the city via the reservation portfolio from the owner is a true copy of what is actually provided and not modified. And the only way, it goes either way, to have a review but then not have a reservation speaks to modifying it. To have all these reviews but no it speaks
Fine.
to it, yeah.
I understand. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So there was a rebuttal from him, and I didn't address it directly because it's not the venue to do so.
Okay.
This appeal process is what it's meant for.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the board members? I'm going to direct it to Patrick. So you had mentioned before that there were some issues in regards to audits with this company and issues with how they reported were there fines issued to these companies, this company as well?
Yes.
Not to the company directly,
So I
but
think, yeah, Dustin mentioned that what's led to this audit for this respective property is that we originally became aware of a property under the same agency for a different property. We audited that property, found the similar findings, which then Dustin started then going down other properties within the same agency and found similar stuff. The agency themselves has not been fined.
Okay. Okay, thank you. If there's no other questions, then I think we're going to, at this time, I would like to open the appeal hearing. The appellant is invited to speak for up to 10 minutes. Any members of the public who desire to speak on this appeal hearing shall have up to 3 minutes. And if any member of the public does testify, the appellant will be invited to provide a rebuttal for up to an additional 2 minutes. So is the appellant here?
He's online.
Oh,
He's
he
on
is?
Zoom.
Okay, great. Could you please state your name, sir?
Sure. Good afternoon. Can you guys hear me there?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. My name is Jonathan Damien. Thank you all for your time here.
Okay. Damien, your 10 minutes is going to start right now, so please go ahead.
Sounds great. Thank you all for your time here. Just wanted to jump in really quickly and just start off by saying this was kind of the first I've been hearing about a lot of these items here. As far as the TOT especially, I have not seen any of that. Pretty much all I've seen is the 3 documentations that were mailed out to me via certified mail and what was emailed to me regarding A7766, A7767, and AB0804. That's all I've seen. Everything else is kind of all brand new. I was writing down as fast as I could to try and capture some of that data that Dustin was putting out there, because that's the first time I've heard of any of that, unless he can show me some kind of an email trace, certified mail that was sent to me, which I did not receive anywhere. This was, unfortunately, the first time I did see that, so I don't really have much of a rebuttal on that portion of it. I do apologize. I kind of will have to table that portion of it. But just to kind of touch on some of these items on here, especially regarding A7766. Can I just start, is it okay just ask their questions directly to Dustin, or would that be acceptable? I'm not sure exactly how this works. I apologize.
No, it's not. This is an opportunity for you to just to state your position.
Okay, got it. Sounds good. Thank you. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out exactly how this works here. So I guess just to start with A7766, I received the citation there. I went through and I looked through all the reviews that I went through and counted. Unfortunately, we do live in the world of technology now, where Airbnb, I haven't seen it anywhere on there that you mentioned, does not allow for guests to buy reviews on there, which they do allow for guests to buy reviews. There's many websites out there, and there's also tons of websites out there for removal of Airbnb reviews, given some people are, a little bit pickier than others that come in there, write 1-star reviews, even though they've had all their needs met. There are websites that, if Airbnb doesn't take it off, you go on there, you pay a fee, and you are able to get them removed. If you Google it, they're simply shown all in front of you there. We're unfortunately in the world of technology there. And then just to touch on Dustin's point, of course, the Airbnb world in Palm Springs, as you guys know, everyone chatters and everyone talks. So there's been a lot of people that have been getting these types of citations, then going through and being let off. And then there's been some that are being held to these citations, depending how far they take it, given, legality wise, or coming to these administrative board meetings and how they kind of take it upon themselves to go about the situation. So there is a fairly large discrepancy inside there, because I have been told in the Airbnb world and have been reading on there that there's a way for Palm Springs. Dustin was asking regarding the legitimacy of the form that was submitted with all the stays on there, and I was told through the forums that I was reading on that there is a way for the city of Palm Springs to run these through their AI generated processes to go in there and see what exactly is all in there. So to kind of feel out the illegitimacy of this here kind of was a little bit frustrating to me. I'm a registered nurse. I'm not here. I'm not a big time multimillionaire real estate investor or anything like that here, So I go in there and I'm trying to make a living for myself. Thought it'd be a good idea to get an Airbnb up and running and have a home for ourselves to come out to and share. But aside from the point there, I went through and I looked at all the stays. I counted out the Airbnb reviews as well too. So it was 76 reviews on there, just as Dustin had mentioned, minus the 36 days that I'm allotted, which would allow for 40 of the citations here. at $500 per count, which I
Just lost him.
Yeah, he's not. He's still on there. I just- Oh, he logged off. He's probably not logged off right
Is this 10-minute clock still ticking or?
now. No, we'll pause it.
Yep.
There he is. He's back on.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
No,
The
that's
call
okay.
dropped me off there with the Zoom. Are you able to hear me okay now?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you, Jonathan.
Sorry about that. What I was getting at was the number per count that I didn't see anywhere within any of these chapters or subsections within the city documents. Because you go down to A7767, and these are each treated as one violation. So given a $500 fine, and in that one there, it states that I didn't have 45 rules and regulations. And then in AB0804, it stated that I didn't have 44 of the 76 days that were regulated in there. Generally, if you are submitting a stay in there, you would think that the numbers would all line up across the board at 40 stays, 40 rules and regulations, 40 contracts submitted. So therefore, there's kind of a bit of a discrepancy. I know Dustin kind of mentioned on some of it. I wasn't able to quite follow exactly where he was able to get the 44, 45, and then number 40 of the citations in there. That kind of threw me off a little bit there, so I apologize there. And then on top of the sheet of the A7766, it states that the fine and citation amount is $28,500, which would equate to 57 citations. But then on the actual written form of the citation, it's stating that there's 40 citations on there. That would equate to $20,000. So it came, to me, it looks like these are just being generated and pumped out through the city to essentially, I don't know if it's to generate income or what it is at this point here because of a loss of revenue and stuff like that with the city. But I'm not quite sure exactly why there's a discrepancy on that as well, too, where I'm being billed for $28,000 on one, $20,000 on the next, and then I'm getting billed for $500 on one violation that in the subsection doesn't have anything on if it's a per count versus the other ones that are per count. So I'm not quite sure exactly where everything stands there. I submitted 31 stays. I know Dustin had mentioned I submitted 32 stays. There was 32 contracts, 32 rules and regulations that were sent over. And regarding the TOC, unfortunately, I cannot speak on that because I haven't seen any of that. This was the first time hearing of that. So I apologize there. And then just in regards to the per night rate, that's something that's kind of generated through algorithms via Airbnb. I don't quite follow it myself either, to be honest. I think it's ridiculous that some people pay thousands for one night, a few hundreds for other night. It all depends on the Airbnb regulations, algorithms, and kind of how people go on and book these. Once the algorithms go in there and they automatically change the calendars as well too, because I looked at it myself a few times. I said, I don't understand this, then started doing some more research as an Airbnb user on how this actually even works. And I think that was pretty much all I had to say. I haven't had any citations. I've had one citation on this property in all the years of operating it here. Aside from that, I've been very neighborly. I had a neighbor that called the city on us. I know Dustin very well. We had a neighbor that nonstop called code compliance. So Dustin knows my property very well as well on top of it because he was always out there for those complaints. And we were never able to really get any complaints out of them. They're all false allegations that were coming in there, just as this one is as well too. I didn't book my property more. If I booked my property more, I would be a lot happier. But I follow the rules and regulations. I've had this neighbor situation that went on that gave me a bad taste on Airbnb in general. I just continue to do this here until I can get the property values to go up in Palm Springs and I can sell the property off. Unfortunately, all the homes out there have lost all their values. There's no real way to sell the property off without letting it go to foreclosure like many of the other homes are in Palm Springs. And that's really the only reason why I continue to try to operate. And I do take a negative loss every single month on this house. I'm not in a positive state here, although I wish I was. And I think that is all I have to say. If I want to thank you guys all for your time here. I apologize for all the rambling, but I don't know how this works next, if you guys had questions or whatnot for me, but thank you all for your time.
Sure. Yeah, hold on for a second, Jonathan.
Sure.
Okay, so Board Secretary, are there any public commenters?
No.
Okay, so now we can close the public hearing next. I'd like to open it up for discussion from the board members. So now, board members, you can ask any questions you need to Jonathan.
I'm just curious, your contention then is that all of those additional reviews are what? How are those generated?
They're bot reviews, because sometimes we do have to take some reviews off, as I was mentioning, and get removal of reviews as well, because we have some guests that are just, you can sometimes just never satisfy certain people. And even though you can go above and beyond for them, they still come and leave you a 1 or 2 star that drops your review rating. So at that point, what we'll do is we'll go in there and purchase another review in there to kind of make up for some of those lost reviews there that we've had to remove on there.
Okay, I think Dustin had mentioned that that's not something that's possible.
Yeah.
Well, hang on, if I can follow up on that question. So what's the name of the company that you bought all these reviews from?
You know, my property manager deals with all of it, to be quite honest with you. I can ask him and get some more information for you if you'd like.
You don't,
I personally don't.
Offhand, you have no idea?
I personally don't, because I don't really track all that stuff as well, to be honest with you. They go in there and they say, we've had an issue here. So then they'll ask me for removal and purchase. So I say, go ahead and do it. And I just have them execute at that point. I never really got into the nitty gritty at that point, to be honest with you. I apologize, but I could get a name if you'd like.
How,
of the companies.
How much did you spend in 2025 to purchase reviews?
2025, these reviews cost probably anywhere around 75 to 100. We've probably spent almost about $3,000 in reviews.
And how much
It's not a
revenue,
cheap process, unfortunately.
how much gross revenue did this property generate in 2025?
The property ran a loss. I don't have the exact numbers just yet because I haven't gone into file taxes just yet on it.
But you do
I
have
filed.
you do have the records.
Of what exactly? Sorry.
You do have the records that would tell us what were the gross revenues for this property in the calendar year 2025?
I could pull those records. I don't have them in
Okay.
front of me at the moment. I'm happy to provide those as well.
Okay. No more questions for me. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
Can I direct one to Dustin, or is it too late?
You have to close the public hearing first.
I already did.
Okay, then you can.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do that.
Have you ever encountered bot reviews like that before?
No, this is the first I've heard of it. You could see me taking notes, because I didn't know you could pay to take them off. I didn't know you could pay to put them on. I mean, the ramifications that would have with our,
System.
with all of this would,
There would be a lot more people in this situation
Yeah.
with, reviews that
yeah.
there's no reservations attached to them.
Yeah, I've never experienced it. Airbnb's policies say that they check all the reviews to make sure that there are corresponding stays. I mean, I don't know how you would.
Just from a simple logic or financial standpoint, why would you want to review when the corresponding TOT tax, somebody would come looking for it?
Okay.
I have a
Sure.
question for Jonathan. Just to
Yeah,
follow
sure,
up.
go ahead.
So your contention then is that there are 40 fake reviews that were paid for that are put on this?
Plus or minus, given some of the other ones that we've had to remove on there as well too. I don't know I don't really follow the reviews, to be quite honest with you, as to how many are bought, how many are not bought exactly, and how many were on there and how many were not on there. I'm just going based off my stays that we submitted to the city there, and then how many actual reviews were on there. I'm getting the number of 40 because based off of the citation amount of 76 minus my 36 allotted stays, would put us at the 40. And if you don't mind, just to interject really quickly, this call is under perjury, right? Because I know, Dustin, there have been other administrators that have told you this in the past. I'm sure there's emails out there that I can pull as well too that have told you you can buy, that you can purchase reviews. I know for a fact 100% that I could pull those emails from those other Airbnb owners that are out there that have also had this allegation that you can purchase the reviews here. So I think it's best that we maybe stay the course as far as all of us being under perjury and all of us being here to tell the truth and get to a bottom line issue here.
Everything at this meeting is part of the record, even documents submitted. So everything that you're stating is also part of the record, sir. And so you're alleging that VRBO and Airbnb's policies allow for you to purchase and remove reviews. I'm not here to advise you to do anything, but I'm here to
sorry,
advise
cut out. I apologize. The screen froze. The last thing I heard was everything is on the record.
It's all part of the record. That's all you need to know.
Perfect.
This board may review those policies at their own time, but staff has obviously done their job and reviewed a lot of these things, and we've reviewed the municipal code. And so with all the evidence presented at this time, the board may make a decision.
Okay, thank you. Jonathan, thank you very much. We're going to
Thank
now.
you, guys. I really appreciate it. And as I told Dustin when I had this call or originally talked to him about this here, I commend the city for doing this as well too, because there's a lot of hosts and operators out there, unfortunately, that give Airbnb and Airbnb hosts and operators in Palm Springs and other areas a bad name. So I do commend the city for going out there and doing this. They're just going after the wrong owners, unfortunately, that are trying to do right by the book here. So,
Okay.
but I do commend you guys for what you're doing here as well too, to get rid of some of the bad Airbnbs that are out there. I give everyone else a bad review and name here.
Okay, great. Okay, your 10 minutes is up. Thank you, Jonathan. We're going to now discuss among the board and discuss any questions we might have and then go to a motion.
I have a question.
So,
There's 3 violations, correct? I mean, there's the excessive number of stays, there's the rules not signed, and then the third one, please remind me.
Contract summaries.
Contract
Summary submission, yeah.
The excessive number of stays, we know related to the reviews. The rules not signed and the contract summaries, is that also related to that, or is that separate from that?
It's all one big picture of compliance within the municipal code. It's not related, I mean, it is.
But it's not, rules that weren't signed isn't one of the 40 other ones necessarily.
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
okay. Any comments? I know you have one.
You know I have a comment. I'd like to make a motion, but maybe before we make a motion, I think it's interesting that this idea that you can buy reviews on Airbnb, but he doesn't know the name of this company, even though everybody does it, and lots of companies, but he can't think of any of them. He doesn't know conveniently what revenues were generated by this property last year, even though if we did know, I'm pretty sure it would blow out of the water, this notion that he operated at a deficit, given that according to Dustin's work, the total revenues were almost $130,000. So
That was submitted numbers.
submitted, that's just submitted. So that's half of the stays that we believe actually took place. Anyway, this is a really troubling case, and the good thing about it is that it makes it easy for me to want to make a motion to uphold the citations and the fines. I'm open to being talked out of it, but good luck.
Yeah, let's hold off on that and
Yeah.
see if there's any other comments from the board members that you'd like to make. Any other board member?
My only concern would be if he actually did pay for them, if there was some evidence or anything of that. Is it something where it would make sense to postpone the decision until that proof is provided, give him
No.
a chance to do that? No.
So,
Because I don't really honestly believe that there is, but If
He
there
has an
were-
opportunity, this is a hearing where
Then
it's
he's had
his,
that opportunity.
he's the appellant, so he's the one that's supposed to convince us that he complied.
Not convinced.
And he didn't do that.
Yeah, you should have,
He can appeal, I mean, this isn't the end of the road for him necessarily. He can appeal and make the same arguments to the court that he made to us, but he can't offer any additional evidence
Yep.
because he didn't offer it to us.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, that's a good point, that's a fair point, but procedurally, we have what we have.
Then that opportunity was presented and it wasn't done.
Absolutely.
Got it.
Okay, any other board member? Okay, then let's go ahead and can I get a motion, please?
Schmidl.
Would you like to,
Second.
let's say it again.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'll move again to uphold the citations and the fines
I'll
that the
second.
city has assessed.
Okay. Board Secretary, can you take the vote?
Board Member Hein?
Aye.
Board Member Corinne?
Aye.
Board Member Barbado?
Aye.
Board Member Faulkner?
Aye.
And Chair Basili?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0 to adopt the resolution upholding the administrative decision.
Jonathan, the city will be in touch with you to discuss the fines. Thank you for your time.
Got it. Sorry, just one quick question, if you don't mind.
You know that we're closed. Time's up.
Okay. Okay. How do I go about appealing this appeal?
Consult
Because
with
I feel like none of my questions were answered here.
That's not our, that's not
The
our
city
concern.
will,
That's not our concern. That's your concern. That's a private
No,
matter.
that's not my concern.
We're done.
we're done. All right. Let's go on to the next one, which is item 4B concerning the property at 232 Avenida Ortega. It's an appeal of a $500 fine and administrative decision that Fontel LLC are permanently ineligible to operate a vacation rental in the city of Palm Springs. Board Secretary, can you please ensure that the city staff and the appellant understand their testimony is under oath?
We do have signed affidavits from city staff and the appellant is in person. Anyone on Zoom who desires to testify under this appeal hearing, under the laws of perjury, if you choose to speak, you hereby accept and acknowledge that your testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you. Can we get the city staff to present their report, please?
Yes, good evening, Chair, board members. My name is Patrick Clifford with the Department of Special Program Compliance. We oversee the vacation rental program here in the city of Palm Springs. Before you is a staff report related for the property 232 Avenida Ortega here in Palm Springs and the administrative fine of $5,000 for operating an unregistered vacation rental at the same location 232 Avenida Ortega. Some quick background related to this property. On March 12th, our department did receive a request for a vacation rental application for that same property. However, we ultimately denied the application because according to our records, in the city as well as the county records, we showed the property as a multifamily dwelling, specifically an apartment between 5 or 10 units. Pursuant to our municipal code for vacation rentals, we don't allow apartments to be a vacation rental and general multifamily dwelling units of 3 units or more. And so we rejected the application to be a vacation rental, and there was communication between our department staff with that decision and actually communicated that if they were interested in renting long-term, which are stays 29 days or more, these stays were not regulated by our vacation rental ordinance and did not require a city permit. I included in the background also the response from the requester as well, and as far as other communication, a lot of communication between our department, the city's planning department, and I still think even to this day there's communication with our planning department to determine if their claim of using the property as a single family classification has been approved by the city or if there's permits. As far as our perspective, we haven't got too much further involved with if the property was converted to a single family use or what that entails. As far as current status, we haven't seen any evidence from at least our planning department or building departments or any municipality shown that it's been changed from a multifamily apartment to a single-family use. But again, those conversations are probably still going on between the appellant and the appropriate departments. But what specifically the staff report is while all that conversation was going on, our code compliance team found that the property was advertising and being operated as a vacation rental without a permit. And so staff found that the Airbnb advertisements were offering short-term stays. The code compliance officer that investigated the property is here to give a little bit further information of what led to the issuance of the citation. But in your staff report, you'll see 5 points to what kind of supported the issuance of the citation. Minimum stays of 7 nights. There were some reviews found on the ad, and an actual correspondence between our code officer and the host of the ad, confirming that they would have the opportunity to stay at the property between June 22nd, 2026, and June 29th, 2026. So. With that led to the issuance of the citation, but I would like to call the issuing officer up to give further detail about what took place during the investigation, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions you have after that.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board, my fellow city staff, members of the public present for this evening's hearing. My name is Jesse Grijalva. I'm a code compliance officer for the city of Palm Springs. On Thursday, April 30th, 2026, while following up a lead received via our OSP admin team, I came across an advertisement on Airbnb titled The Fontanelle, 7 bedrooms, Palm Springs icon. And it's included in the staff report as attachment number 5, starting on page 3. Upon reviewing the mentioned advertisement, I did not observe a vacation rental city ID number posted anywhere on the advertisement, which prompted a further investigation of the property. After reviewing the posted photos on the advertisement, I was able to confirm the address of the property as 232 Avenida Ortega, in which you can find in the staff report as attachment 5, starting on page 29. Upon reviewing our vacation rental database, it was confirmed that this property does not hold a vacation rental certificate. As I further reviewed the advertisement, I observed the entire property was being offered for up to 16 guests. The booking calendar for this property requires a 7-night minimum stay, which you can find on the second page of attachment 5. So to determine whether this property was actively operating as a vacation rental, I contacted the host through the Airbnb's messaging system. That message exchange is included as attachment number 6, beginning on page 2 of the staff report. I requested a 7-night stay for 15 guests, arriving on Monday, June 22nd, 2026, and departing on Monday, June 29th, 2026. In my message, I said, quote, "Hi there, my team and I are looking to visit Palm Springs in a couple of months, and I want to be sure of how many cars are allowed so we can plan accordingly, and also if the dates of June 22nd through June 29th are available. Thank you." The host, who goes by the name of Field Trip Hospitality, responded by saying, quote, "Hello, Jesse. Thank you so much for your inquiry on our property. I'm pleased to inform you that your dates are available, and I would be thrilled to coordinate your stay with us." After a couple of messages, I received a final message from the host stating, Thanks so much for sharing, and your trip sounds great. Your dates are open and ready to go. You can book directly through the platform now to secure them. Let me know if you need anything while booking." With this being said, the host showed clear intention in allowing me to book the property for a short-term stay for the requested 7-night stay of June 22nd, 2026 through June 29th, 2026. In attachment 6, you could find the confirm and pay window of the booking showing a stay of 7 nights and 15 guests with a total price of $12,530, with the final steps of including payment information to finalize the booking. So for those of you unfamiliar with our city's vacation rental ordinance, our city's definition of operation of a vacation rental as applied in chapter 5.25 includes but is not limited to any one of the following. First, advertisement of the property means any web-based advertisement, hosting platform, print media, bulletin, signage, radio, and television, or on any other medium for the purposes of promoting interest in, testing the market for, or soliciting the occupancy of a property for a period of 28 consecutive days or less. Number 2, an owner, agent, or other representative of the owner has an interest in rental, exchange, trade, gift, or grant of a guest stay at a property of less than 28 consecutive days or less. Third, an owner, agent, or any other representative of the owner interacts with another party, whether directly or indirectly through personal or digital electronic contact, with the intent to provide availability of the property for an occupancy of 28 days or less, or to complete a rental and/or reservation of the property for future occupancy of 28 days or less. So, as a result of my findings contained with the advertisement, which was promoting interest in and soliciting the occupancy of the property for a period of 28 consecutive days or less, the unique response to my inquiry, as well as the host's invitation to book the requested 7-night stay, demonstrating an intent to provide availability of the property of occupancy for 28 days or less, I found that the property located at 232 Avenida Ortega was in violation of PSMC 5.25040 subsection A, which is operating a vacation rental without a vacation rental certificate. I issued administrative citation number AB0811 to the property owner on file, Fontanelle LLC. I sent it via direct certified mail on May 7th, 2026 to the address on title, with a copy also being mailed non-certified to the address here in Palm Springs. That will conclude my testimony, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. I do have, go
Sorry,
ahead.
just didn't mean to interrupt. Apologies. I just want to clarify on the staff report. Code Officer Revolva mentioned that the attachments you referenced were 5 and 6. However, in the staff report, I have it listed as attachments 7 and 8. That's incorrect. My apologies. The attachments that he referenced, the numbers that he gave, are the accurate attachments, which are listed at the last page of the staff report. It's just the reference of attachment 7 and attachment 8 in the body of the staff report are incorrect.
Okay, thank you. So, quick question. So in the document that was provided by Albert Webb and Associates, and then there's also other supporting documents as a parcel merger grant deed. Even though you've got several parcels that were merged, you have one central unit that they consider to be to have a kitchen area, yet there's several suites that are attached to it. Would you consider this a single-family dwelling then?
It's not my decision to decide that. There are 7 units on the property, and they're all being advertised as short-term
As one unit, so under one advertisement, instead of 7 separate units. So therefore, the short-term rental, even though they don't have a short-term rental would not have been given for a property like this that they're trying to advertise as one unit, yet there's 7 separate units within the property. Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. All right, great.
Actually, sorry, did you guys convey to them that they weren't granted a license? I mean,
Yes, the initial communication, we received an application rental request. That was back on March 12th. They submitted a request for an application. Our staff said that we were unable to permit such kind of multi-family dwellings for vacation rental. We communicated that they were able to do the long-term rental, but we went in that it was permitted. And that's where they started a lot of conversations regarding the proposed conversion of the property to be a single-family residence. We brought in our planning team to help assist if there's any records. From our standpoint, from a vacation rental administration team, we just couldn't move further with issuing a certificate.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. Then, At this time, I would like to open the appeal hearing. The appellant is invited to speak up to 10 minutes. Any members of the public who desire to speak on this appeal hearing shall have up to 3 minutes to speak. If any member of the public testifies, the appellant will be invited to provide a rebuttal up to 2 additional minutes. Is the appellant here?
Yes.
Sir, would you come on up? And please introduce yourself.
My name is Ariel Rekscheid. I'm one of the owners of Fontanelle. That's Jesse Shackman and Anna. They're husband and wife. Jesse and I have been best friends since we were little kids, and I have a lot to tell you guys.
Well, you have 10 minutes.
Yeah, I can do it.
So you,
I can do it in less than
so you can go ahead and start.
Okay. I mean, here's the basic gist, okay? I'm here to apologize for the violation. From our end, it was an honest mistake, and we take it very seriously. I kind of feel like it's like hearing you guys talk about it, I want to like cut to the point and then read what I said, which
Go
is
ahead.
that, let me just say right off the bat,
Sure.
I get to it pretty quickly, so you'll hear it again. We misunderstood. We made a mistake. We did not understand. We understood, this is the 3 of us I'm talking about, understood that long-term rental meant once every 28 days, not once for 28 days, okay? It's insane because we have a lawyer, we have a land use management, and then we got a property manager who pitched to us to take care of it, because as we've been working on this project for like 5 years, renovating it, I don't know, maybe even more, we got a lot of interest in the neighborhood. Like, people were really, really excited about our property and checking in with us. And now let me just read what I had written. I'm not used to this, I'm a little flustered, but I'll tell you what it is. So I'm here to apologize for violation. It was an honest mistake on our end, and we take it very seriously. We know the laws are in place to protect the neighborhoods, and honestly, that is what we care about. It's the neighborhood. It's history, it's beautification, etc. The fee is also very serious to us. It's a lot of money for us. It's not easy, but we don't have any issue paying it. We understand that we made a mistake and we violated the law. I came in here in person, rather than getting on Zoom or anything like that, to appeal the part of the penalty of not ever being able to obtain an STR permit in the future. Because as you heard, we've been in the process of trying to obtain it. And I'll get to that in a bit. We've been working with the city and a land use specialist. That's Webb and Associates is the lawyer or the land use management? They're the lawyer. Sorry, there's a different land use management, a guy named Oscar, who's in all the correspondences. So we've been working with these people to obtain the permit and to work on the occupancy designation of the property, because it's a funny property. It was built as an apartment building in like 1951, but it was shortly after it was bought by Max Factor, the famous makeup guy, and it's been used as a family compound for 75 years, okay? So I'm going to say that again later, but so we've been working with the specialist to try and obtain legally an STR. And we only very, very recently started working with this company Field Trip, who is a property manager who's there to help take care of the property when we're not there. We're SoCal natives, we're here all the time. But when we first bought the property, we would come and, I'm jumping ahead. So here we go. We were horrified when we learned about the improper listing, and we immediately took action. The honest truth is we didn't fully understand the rules. We believed that we were allowed to rent the property once every 28 days. It's funny because all of us individually misunderstood the information that we were told. That is the honest truth. I want to make sure everyone knows we're not developers. We've never had a property list before. We have no experience with it. What I'm most eager to connect with all of you guys on, I hope I'm making a connection, is the context for how we got there. Myself and Jesse have been friends since we were 10 years old, and we've SoCal natives. We've been coming to Palm Springs our whole lives, staying in hotels and things like that. Never fully got it. We're both musicians and have a musician friend. Maybe you've heard of her, a Grammy-winning singer-songwriter Sia, who owned the property before us. She hadn't been using the property much and let us stay there during the pandemic. We were all like isolating at home. We're, like I said, very close friends, so we were potting together. We became fascinated by the history of the property. It was owned by famous makeup artist Max Factor and used as a compound for friends and family for the last, I'm saying 50 plus to be, I think it's been more like 75 years, okay? The Fontanelle is a time capsule. I'm not sure if the pictures, have you guys seen all the pictures? It's truly, you're transported the moment you step in. It was such an escape during COVID. It was such a place of relief during very hard times. I'm not trying to drop any bombs on you guys, but my mom died during that time. We were like, it was like a really important place for us. When Sia decided to sell the property, we knew we had to keep it in the family. So we really moved mountains personally to be able to buy it and started to restore it and improve it in ways that were outdated. We worked with the city program to remove all the grass that was just wasting water in the front yard. You know, when the property was built, there was nothing around it. So the front yard probably meant something. Now it's all businesses around it. Everyone keeps the windows closed. It was just total waste. We spent a ton of money on mature native plant trees and you know, using a landscaper that's local and all this stuff. And we put historically accurate gates onto the driveways, because there's multiple driveways, to keep vagrants away from the property. That was part of the reason why we were open to the property manager, because it wasn't part of our initial reason for wanting it, is we'd come back and we'd see people encampments, you know? So we were like, oh shit, like we need to, you know, we don't, sorry. No, we're not here, even twice a month, things go down, you know? So every time we made a modification, we were getting applauded by our neighborhood, by the locals, and you know, hopefully you see some of the letters that were sent to just say that we were positively impacting the neighborhood, not in the way that like people who are breaking these STR rules sometimes are. We spared zero expense in getting all the original details back up and shining, fabricating windows to match the original ones where the original ones had broken, things like that. I can go on all day, but I don't want to run out of time. I want to explain our intention for the property was for ourselves and for our friends and family and our artist community. We believe it's an asset to the city of Palm Springs. Of course, that's what we believe, but we do. And to the block and neighborhood, again, all the letters, I hope, show that support this idea. An example. Just a few weeks ago, a good friend of mine, and I hope I don't sound like a total horrible person, but Oscar-winning director Paul Thomas Anderson came and stayed at our property just as a friend to do a Q&A at a local theater to help drum up business for the theater and create awareness for the movie theater. He's a real film. I mean, this is our world. You know what I mean? It's truly art-based. And, you know, and this is totally just the very, very beginning of the journey. And so, like, as horrified as we were about this thing, which was an honest mistake, I'm happy it happened so soon so that we can rectify it and never let it happen again. You know, Modernism Week has been asking, they've been keeping tabs on our completion of it because they want to include it in part of the tour of Modernism Week. We hosted artists there during the art shows of, I'm not for money, just friends of ours. And, you know, the list goes on about the intentions. And I was a little worried about running out of time, so I kind of kept it down. But I don't know, as anyone who's maintained an old property probably knows, it's like very, very expensive. And anyone who's done a renovation knows that it takes 6 times as long and costs 6 times as much money. That's an understatement for us, because each step of the way we were just finding more opportunities to make it a better property. We did solar, which cost a fortune, you know, and took forever, and the companies went out of business in the middle of it and left us high and dry for, I mean, this has been an insane process. And just to say, as we started to get the permits to do this, we merged the parcels. This was all in the idea of doing it. I mean, that cost a lot of money too, you know, merging the parcels, and if I remember correctly, it was like $50,000, something like that. Don't quote me, but it's something around there. And it was all because we realized we're dealing with a very antiquated property, like a property that was, yes, built as an apartment building, which is the only reason why I think the city has it listed that way, is because it's the only documentation they have of it. It's not been functioning as that since the early 50s. And so, again, just to say the thing about the short-term rental, well, for one, we didn't even know we were doing that. We really didn't, and it is horrifying, and we're taking it in real time. And you know, the real goal of the property was to supplement the costs occasionally to be able to afford all the other things that I'm talking about. You know, to just enjoy it and do fundraisers for artistic things in the neighborhood and historical things and that kind of stuff. You know, we really, the whole time, have been under the belief system that once we connected with the city of Palm Springs, they would see that it's an asset to Palm Springs and what it really is. And the truth is, back to the conversation about rejecting the STR, and then when we started to inquire what it would take, it has been taking forever to get through that, and we've been paying through the nose with land use management people to like really get to the bottom of it. There's an idea that maybe the issue is now that we have multiple meters as opposed to 1 meter, because, you know, it's become one address. It's not 7 addresses. It's got one kitchen. It's got the original kitchens in there, which I don't know if there's pictures in there. They're relics. We have signs that say do not use them, but they're works of art. And it would be an absolute travesty to knock them out. And we won't do it. We'll figure it out one way or another. But what we're appealing very clearly is just the part about never allowing us to do that in the future. We don't intend on doing it illegally. We want to do it legally. We didn't know we were doing it illegally. And that's really, that is the, I really don't know what else to say. That's the honest truth.
Thank you.
Oh, and just to say, one of our neighbors, Joe Parrott, came as well, just because, you know, I don't know, they could say for themselves, there's birds in the neighborhoods now, it's cleaner, it's lit up at night, it's become a much better place. Again, the businesses, I don't know, I don't want to ramble, but that is.
Okay. All right. Finished? You are finished.
I think so. I think so. I'll probably think of more stuff later, but.
Yeah, but we're finished. Okay, so, Board Secretary, do we have any commenters?
No, we do not.
Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and close this part of the public hearing, and we'll open it up now to the board to have any questions for you. I do have one question. So who rented the property for you?
Field Trip.
The management company? Okay, so, and then you had an attorney that's working on this property as well?
Yes, and let me tell you that the first time I realized that the attorney, the land use management, and the property manager were not communicating was when we saw the violation. I was like, how can I be paying this much money and it doesn't, and they don't know what's going on, you know, because this is my worst nightmare. I'm like an anxious Jewish guy who doesn't want to like get in trouble for this kind of stuff. So like, it was, yeah, but that is it.
So I just want to make something clear, because you probably are, don't know this, but we as the board cannot change any of that. That's not our position. Our position is to listen to the violation and the fines and determine whether or not they're justified and whether or not we move forward with the violation. You can always appeal it with the city. This property wasn't approved for short-term rental, and for a reason. So I don't know how you can move forward with this, but this portion we have no control over, but you might want to talk to the city and see if there's a way that you can do something about repurposing the property, even though there's just one structure, but it's still 7 separate units in there, and so itself is we're looking at single-family dwellings and whether or not a single-family dwelling had violated the rules and regulations of short-term rentals. So for us, we can't say, okay, we're going to take that away from you. That's out of our control.
Sorry, take what away from us?
So we can't turn around and say, okay, well, short-term rental, you're asking us, would we reconsider not taking away permanent violation for short-term rental, that you can't do a short-term rental on this property. We have no control over that. So the only control we have as a board is to listen to the violation and from both the city and the appellant and determine whether or not the violation existed. What you're asking us to do, we have no control over. So
Okay.
we can't change
You need
that.
to designate, to
change the
split the
designation.
violation into two aspects of it. Because that's what I'm saying, is that we're more than happy to pay the fee. I mean, happy is a strong word.
Yeah.
But we are in the process of doing, of getting to the place where we are, changing the occupancy. And I believe we spoke to the fact that that's in process and hasn't been, and by the way, it's been maybe 2 years of trying to do this. So it's not that like we just jumped the
It's a
gun.
long process,
It
yeah.
was a really long process, and we accidentally made a mistake that's like going to like cut that off in the middle, and we really, and I'm not here to pretend that we didn't do it. We did it. I just didn't know we were doing it.
Can I stop you for a second, and if I can ask our legal counsel, is there something, is there a response I can give that would be appropriate right now? Because right now I'm kind of tongue-tied with how I'm saying this, but
Yeah, Chair, I think you explained it perfectly. This board is here to hear whether there was a violation and apply the facts of whether there was a violation in accordance with the municipal code. Here, based on your testimony, you have admitted, yes, we violated, there was a confusion. This is a strict liability board here, so we apply the facts to the code. And since there was in fact a violation, it's up to the board to determine that, whether to move forward with a staff recommendation based on that, right? But the board does not have the discretion at this time to modify a violation. And yeah, that's
So
just
either
how it is.
violation or no violation, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair, but am I wrong about this? You applied to get a short-term, you filed an application for a short-term vacation rental license, and you were turned down. And, but you violated the short-term rental.
See, we thought short-term rental meant you could do more than one rental per month.
I understand, but it seems like you're sort of damned if you do and damned if you don't. And that's my issue with it, is it or isn't it governed by short-term rental?
well, that is the question.
That's the question. And so, and we've got the planning commission kind of involved here. This is not, I don't think this is the cut and dried, is this a violation or not, that it would be otherwise. What do you want to do with the property? What was your vision, and how do you see it going forward, and how important is the short-term rental piece of it? I know it's a revenue generator.
I'll tell you why, because what we were told initially was we could do long-term rental and we could do a hotel license.
And that's all true,
We don't want to do a hotel.
not for this property.
Not for this property. It's a beautiful relic. The furniture, just to say like things I didn't want to get into, it's the original furniture from
Okay,
Max
so what do you
Factor.
want to do?
We want to use it, and then during maybe high season, rent it a couple weekends a month here and there. You know what I mean? That was our ultimate goal, And then we were okay with the idea of renting it once a month until we got to that point. We didn't realize that we were breaking a law. doing
That part I understand, and that part, it's a little bit shocking, given the professionals involved.
You know what?
I know you're more shocked than I am,
I'm
but
like wanted to vomit.
I know.
Okay, so.
I know.
But that is the vision, is everything I said, we go there, we chill out with Jesse and Anna and their baby, with my family. We had the architect, our friend, had their child's bar mitzvah there. We love it. We love it as a personal getaway from LA, and yeah, just a little bit of added supplemental income because we didn't realize quite how deep we were going to get into it with all the stuff we got into it, and we're just a little bit underwater financially. So that's it.
Am I wrong in wondering if, when you have worked your way through the planning commission or the city or whatever the red tape is that's taking so long, that you would qualify as a short-term vacation rental, or is this property just?
We were told by land use, Oscar, I don't know if he's on there or whatever, that he believes that it's very likely that we will be able to, that we merged the parcels. We took a bunch of steps already in the direction. We just need to get people's attention to see the property and understand. We've been trying to sit at a table like this with the city, and we just haven't been able to. you know?
And so, I'm sorry,
No, Gloria.
but I'm kind of on roll. So that's, I guess that's what sort of I have a problem with here is the permanent nature of the proposed
So-
order.
They didn't have a permit, and they still advertised it. There was confusion there, they said, right? On the timing,
We can find a violation.
yeah. But,
And-
well, the thing
sure.
is, the code is very clear.
I have a,
So,
my question would be, if they're banned as a multi-unit, if they do change it to a single-family unit, can they reapply at that point?
Not if we,
For the
not if
staff,
we
if
say it's
Right,
permanently
so-
banned.
And I
But I
guess
think-
that's the question, because the concern is that they're in the middle of getting decided whether or not they're single family or if it's gonna be keeping the other designation.
We're
It's in the
finding
middle.
out what measures
Right.
it would take to
So-
make it.
So my concern is that if I said, nope, you are permanently multifamily, is it permanently really mean permanently, or is it like until that designation
well,
changes?
if the designation is, what, multifamily now, right? And they didn't have a permit that was issued to them, a short-term rental permit initially. They still operated the property, whether it's designated as multifamily, as a short-term rental. They got the violation, the code is clear, you violated the short-term rental municipal code, and the violation for that is that you're permanently banned, right? So I defer.
Even though they applied and were told, this isn't a short-term vacation rental property. So we
So-
can't issue you a registration. But now that you violated the code,
That's the thing, okay, so the city staff said, hey, you can't operate as a short-term rental on this property because it's multifamily. But they still operated as a short-term rental and advertised it, right? There's still a violation there pursuant to the code. If you apply the facts to what the code says, there's a violation. I defer to city staff on whether if upholding this violation today will ban them if they convert it to a different use in the future. That's, I think, something that needs to be taken a closer look at. And, yes.
I have a follow-up. So what I did notice is that it is an LLC. You guys are an LLC.
That's how we were. able
Yeah,
to
if
buy it.
this LLC is banned permanently, if they transfer the assets into a
No.
reform of the
That's not
It
corporation.
doesn't work that way.
I mean, we're
Doesn't
not,
work that
we're
way.
not here to try and like bend the rules.
Right.
or
I'm
what-
not
yeah,
asking you to.
No, I
Our
know.
hands are kind of tied.
I
We
know, I know.
applaud everything you guys have done.
I just think it's like sometimes, I thought the appeals would be just to sort of like interpret the letter of the law a little bit.
And this is why we also have an item today for discussion regarding the scope of this board.
And-
right? Because we have
Yeah.
items like these that come up.
Exactly.
And I know it's difficult for this board, but I just want to remind the board that we're applying the law to the facts. And I know it's very difficult in situations, but that's it. My legal advice to this board is that that's what your job is. If you don't want to take my advice, that's on this board, right? And so, and I also defer to city staff on whether there is something else that can go on in the future if this is upheld, whether conversion to a single-family residential property would allow them.
This
I
might
don't
be-
know at this point. That's
Exactly.
something we'd have to look closer into also from a legal standpoint.
Yeah, because we have to be careful how we step out of our bounds. This is something that you might be able to appeal in court. So, I mean, we're all on the same thought. We appreciate the fact that you're taking this property and changing it. We as a board, when it comes to the motion, we as a board can talk among that. And there's a way that we can talk about it, but we
You're
can't
right, that's a
alter
different
that
phase of the
designation or
hearing.
the approval on it. And the attorney is giving us advice on how our position as a board, that we're not to change anything, we're to evaluate what's put in front of us to determine whether or not an actual violation has occurred. But when it comes to a motion, we can discuss that. So that's what I say, let's discuss the motion. Okay. All right, thank you very much. And now we will talk among the board members, so.
Thank you, you can.
Oh, good, okay. Thanks for listening, guys.
You're welcome, thank you. So, we have a position right now as a board to either approve it or not approve it. We can,
There's no way to thread the needle, there's no way to say we can't make any amendments.
No, we can't make an amendment. We can say that we won't uphold, we all agree not to uphold it, but the fine, but we can't change anything.
And we can't do one and not the other. Okay.
Is that
Okay.
because, I'm sorry, I just have had this lingering question, and it's the way that this is worded, and I'm not as familiar with all of this as you, but it seems to me that the permanent ineligibility part is that a punitive addition to violating the rental portion of this that they went ahead and did? So it's in addition, there's the $5,000 fine, and then on top of that,
It's a
because.
two-part.
So it's a two-part punishment.
That's how the ordinance reads, yes.
And so it's not really about if your change of use comes through, we can go back and look at it again. It's because you did this, you now suffer this, and you can't go back.
And we're looking at something based on today's information. So
Right.
what we're looking at is what's in front of us. So if someone wants to dispute that, they can do that. I mean, that's what the court of laws are all about, changing things. So for whatever we decide here today, it can always be disputed in the court system. And in some cases, I encourage that. Well, I'm not representing or anything, but I say that there's a way of changing things. But for right now, we have information in front of us regarding a violation. And did it occur or did it not occur? And that's what our attorney is saying to us, that we have to look at the facts that are put in front of us. And the question that's posed to us today is there a violation or not? That's the bottom line.
I have a question.
And
What if you can't get somebody to make a motion to uphold it? Does it get tabled?
no,
What's your question?
it doesn't. He said, what happens if you can't get someone to make a motion to uphold it? Well, then the opposite would be to not uphold it. So
It would
if
default to that.
right, if the members of the board decide that they don't want to
Wait,
uphold
is
it,
that-
And
then
yes,
that's our choice.
But I have to advise this board that that's a slippery slope, because if we continue, this board continues to do that, then we may open the city to liabilities.
Right.
Because there are many others that have been upheld in similar situations, and if they come back and say, hey, in this situation, and I want to remind this board, everything that's discussed here, all the decisions are part of the record, and this is all public. And so if somebody else wants to use this in their appeal to the court, they can. So
And I appreciate that.
I know it's difficult.
This is a little bit of a black swan because of the history here with the city. And I guess my hope is, and I guess I'm willing to entertain a motion to uphold the citation and both parts of it, provided that that's not necessarily the end of the road if this applicant wants to reapproach the city if and when. I know permanent means permanent, but the city has discretion, we don't, right? Am I right?
That's correct.
Yeah, this board doesn't have discretion, so it's either you uphold it completely with no conditions.
No, but I'm asking, does the city have discretion? If the applicant goes back to the city later after there is clarification about the nature of the property and whether.
That's where we would have to take a closer look on if the use is a different use than if it changes to a single-family use somehow. They go through that process. They can still go through the conversion process with the city, go through the application process. They just are permanently banned from the short-term rental program with the city. And then at that position, when they come to the city and say, hey, we converted, this use is now officially single-family use, we would have otherwise qualified, that's when we need to take a closer look. I can't answer that question right now and say, hey, yeah, they can come back to the city.
Exactly.
And staff, please correct me if I'm wrong, if there's something that I'm missing here.
Yeah, and I appreciate the comments and just wanted a good opportunity to, give my thoughts on it. So with respect to our enforcement, right, our municipal code says any person. And so we're citing the person or the entity that caused the violation of operating a short-term rental. We're not citing the actual property. So the property is not banned permanently, the person is permanently banned. If this property sold, a new owner took it, they applied, we'd issue a certificate. If it changed use and this same person that was cited came to our office to request a certificate, we would go back to and say, you were found operating without a registration certificate, you're permanently ineligibility. We don't really have discretion with that, with the same kind of key points that the city attorney made, that we would open ourselves up to situations of why have we not given discretion to others. And so we've always maintained that we're the enforcers, we enforce the municipal code. We're also not the deciders as well, as far as if our actions are appropriate to the municipal code. We gather the facts, the findings, and we apply the municipal code as we see fit. In this case, any person that operates a vacation rental without the certificate shall be permanently ineligible, and the monetary fine of $5,000.
And the person in this case would be the entity.
Correct.
And remember, if indeed the property is zoned currently as multifamily, all of that could change when the designation changes on the property. So again, our position is to determine whether or not a violation happened, and then the appellant can go back to the courts and argue their points. But we are not in the position to say yes or no about changing a designation or removing a designation on a property. These are the tough ones that we always have.
It's not designation on a property, it's a designation on the violator, correct?
Right.
The designation
The
as far as
fine
multifamily,
and the violation always goes
that's all
with the-
determined by city council or whatever later on.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So I'm going to put out a motion there that we uphold the violation, the $5,000 fine, and the ineligibility of a short-term rental. And I need a second, please.
I'll second it.
Okay, Board Secretary, can you take the vote?
Chair Basili.
Aye.
Board Member Corin. Board Member Barbato.
Nay.
Board Member Faulkner.
Aye.
Board Member Hein.
Oh, my God. Aye, with prejudice, like, I'm mad about it. I don't like it, for
Noted.
the record.
Motion carries 4-1 to adopt a resolution upholding the administrative decision.
Okay. City will be in touch with you. There very well may be another solution for you guys, so don't give up.
But in any event, thank you for
Thank
what
you
you've
for-
done. Thank you for your time today,
No, I appreciate it.
and good luck.
Thank you.
It doesn't stop you from renting the property long-term. It just means that you can't rent it short-term.
It just kind of defeats the whole purpose.
Right.
It's, just one last thing, I know my time ran out, but I will also say that, like, in this mess, we were told that we couldn't list it on Airbnb or VRBO without a short-term rental permit. We're like, great, okay, we don't have one, we don't want to do that, and then first time we knew that it was on that website was when we got the violation. And I'm beyond pissed at the management company. I just don't know how.
That is
Good.
another set of recourse for you, potentially.
I don't think
But
so,
we can't,
because the onus on the owner is.
If I may, I have a question. Does this prevent Ariel from participating in Modernism Week?
No.
No, has nothing to do
So
with
he
that.
can open his gates and have as many people in there as he wants
Absolutely.
as a fundraiser?
Anything but short-term vacation rental.
That's our role, is short-term rentals.
considerations.
There's other zoning and like business operating. There's
Right.
other.
You'll have to
there's
check
other
with the
municipal
city.
Considerations that
Doesn't
don't
apply
apply
for
for vacation
permit.
rental ordinance.
But that's my,
So
as a
contract
neighbor,
Yeah.
I love seeing interesting people into our little
Of
corner.
course.
And it's a
Absolutely.
draw. And it helps businesses.
Yeah.
It keeps the place safe. The streets are clean. There's never garbage.
Yeah.
If parking,
Yeah, yeah.
if parking was an issue, there's plenty of private parking behind those gates.
Thank you.
So as a neighbor, that's my point.
Yeah. Well, thank you
You've done a
again
beautiful
for,
job on it,
Yeah,
too.
I think we all agree.
Thanks, guys. I wish.
Five seats. And I'm sorry, I put four, it's actually five on the code.
It's tough. These are tough.
Because they need different people running for this.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Yes, they're not
Are
always
they
this
normally easier than
complicated. Yes, they are, I promise, I promise.
This one here?
Welcome to the
I
committee.
know.
And then at the end of the day, it is on the owner.
Oh, okay, is this the last one? Okay, next item is 4C concerning the property at 2395 West Arcadia Road. It's an appeal of administrative decision for a 2-year suspension of vacation rental registration certificate. Board Secretary, can you please ensure that the city staff and the appellant understand that their testimony is under oath?
We have signed affidavits from city staff and the appellant who is in person. Anyone on Zoom who desires to testify under this appeal hearing, under the laws of perjury, if you choose to speak, you hereby accept and acknowledge that your testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
City staff, would you please present your report?
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Chair, board members. Again, my name is Patrick Clifford with Department of Special Program Compliance, and we oversee the vacation rental program here in the city of Palm Springs. Before you is a staff report for the property located at 2395 West Acacia Road here in Palm Springs. The matter before hand is that this property was issued 3 administrative citations in a 12-month period. The first administrative, to go back to some background, this property is a registered vacation rental and with a start date of August 12th, 2021. And so our ordinance gives great regulations relating to how guests, when they visit the property, rules that they must follow, and as well rules that that owners must abide by operating the vacation rental. So at this property in the last 12 months, we've received 3 administrative citations related to guest violations found at the property. On July 17th, 2025, citation A8997 was issued for a violation of music at the vacation rental property. On September 7th, 2025, citation A6785 was issued for a music violation found at the property. And then on April 26, 2026, citation A8121 was issued for a music violation at the property. And so our municipal code does regulate music at a vacation rental, and simply that music cannot be heard, technically, notwithstanding the provisions of our noise ordinance that we have, any radio receiver, musical instrument, phonograph, loudspeaker, sound amplifier, or any machine or device for the producing or reproducing of any sound shall be conducted within the fully enclosed vacation rental unit and shall not be audible at the property line of the vacation rental. In each of these situations that the violation was found, our code officers investigated the property, went to the property, and heard music at the property line. Pursuant to our municipal code, as mentioned, 525090B, upon the 3rd violation in any 12-month period, the city manager shall suspend the vacation rental certificate for up to 2 years, and any appeal of the 3rd administrative citation and the suspension should be heard in front of this board. Based on the 3 administrative citations that were issued in the 12-month period, this vacation rental certificate will be suspended for a period of 2 years between the dates of June 15th, 2026 and June 15th, 2028. And that letter is actually in attachment 7 in your staff report. Additionally, the code officer that issued the 3rd administrative citation is here to provide further testimony, and I would like to invite that code officer up for further testimony. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board, members of the staff, and the public present for this afternoon's hearing. My name is Jesse Grijalva. I'm a Code Compliance Officer with the City of Palm Springs. On Friday, May 1st, 2026, while serving as a primary on-call vacation rental enforcement officer for the city, I received a notification from our vacation rental hotline dispatch center at 2:14 p.m. regarding an active disturbance for loud music occurring at 2395 West Acacia Road. I was accompanied by Officer Robert Fontes, who responded with me as a secondary officer. We arrived at the property at 2:20 p.m. we conducted our observation from the street in front of the property, and a violation of music heard beyond the property line was observed. I was able to positively identify the song playing at the time via my department-issued cell phone with the application Shazam. The song captured was titled Lust by artist Lil Skies. Officer Fontes and I made contact at the front door with responsible guest, Brian. I advised him that the reason for my contact was because of the reported concern for music, and as well that we observed a violation of music heard beyond the property line. Brian admitted to playing the music and further stated that the music that they were playing was at a low volume. I further explained that although he stated that the music was playing at a low volume, it still constituted a violation as the music was still observed from beyond the property line. Officer Fontes handed Brian a good neighbor brochure and further educated him on the ordinance for music and amplified noise from beyond the property line. The responsible guest, Brian, was cooperative and understanding. I proceeded to issue the third citation, A121, for violation of Palm Springs Municipal Code 5.25070G. Music observed beyond the property line. Officer Fontes followed up with the responsible renter in regards to vacation rental ordinances regarding occupancy, permissible vehicles allowed, and as well as increased fines for further violations. I then followed up with the listed local contact, Janet, to notify them of the reported disturbance and enforcement action taken. I also followed up with the reporting party to advise of our findings. As Patrick mentioned, Palm Springs Municipal Code 5.25 Section 070G states that notwithstanding of the section of our noise ordinance, which is 11.74043, any radio receiver, musical instrument, phonograph, loudspeaker, sound amplifier, or any machine or device for the producing or reproducing of any sound shall be conducted within a fully enclosed vacation rental unit and shall not be audible from the property line at a vacation rental. So going back to the three citations that were issued, the first citation, which was in July 17, 2025, that citation was paid for in full on July 31st. An appeal was heard for that citation on August 20th, 2025, and that citation was upheld. The second citation was issued by myself on September 7th, 2025. That citation was also paid in full on September 15th. There was no appeal requested. And the third citation in the calendar year was issued by myself as well on April 20th, 26th. That citation was paid in full on April 27th. And that will conclude my testimony, and I'm available for any questions.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
One question I have is, I believe you said the violation carries up to 2 years of suspension. Is it who determines the amount of time that is?
So it's a 2 years, regardless. There's no in between. So if there's 3 violations, it's an automatic 2-year suspension.
Okay, so it's not up to 2 years. We'll decide what it is. It's 2 years. Got it.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you. So at this time, I'd like to open the appeal hearing. The appellant is invited to speak up to 10 minutes. Any member of the public who desires to speak on the appeal hearing shall have up to 3 minutes to speak. If any member of the public does testify, the appellant will have an additional 2 minutes to rebut the statement. Is the appellant here?
Yes.
Please go.
My name is Dr. Sargsyan, and I'm the owner of the property that is being appealed today. First of all, I want to let you know that I understand that this is my responsibility, and I respect all the rules and regulations of short-term rentals. All of those violations were a result of the guest conduct, and as soon as I was aware of these violations, I contacted the guests and I asked them, they stopped the music already, the music was stopped already. And I would say that initially, since we were new in short-term rental, and I was not that much aware of this strict zero music, no music at all at any time, I was under the impression that during the daytime and weekends, the music might be fine, but apparently it is strictly no music at all time of the day. And I want to take the responsibility of this. I understand that this is my responsibility. But I want to point out the last citation that was during the daytime, 2:30 p.m., and the guests immediately turned off the music as they were notified. Again, I might be repeating myself, but I was under the impression that during the daytime the music is okay, but still I completely understand this is my responsibility, and I implemented, since this happened, we have implemented sound detectors throughout the property, which gives us a notification once the sound will be above the normal. Also, I updated our contract in the Airbnb, which lists that we have 0 music tolerance, and music will not allowed at any time. So we updated that in our contract as well. Also, what else? Oh, I additionally, whenever we have a booking, I additionally to that contract text message directly to the guest that no music allowed at any time. So I understand and take the responsibility, but I asked to reconsider this decision of reissuing my license to permit to operate under the short-term, because this will impact financially as well on me. I'm a single mom of 2, and this will bring a big hardship on me, because now I have to think what I have to do with this house. Selling is kind of not a good time right now to sell the house. I would definitely sell it if I was at a good time. So I would really appreciate, I learned from this. I want to say that I learned from this, and I have the measures taken to prevent this from happening again. And I would really appreciate if this can be reconsidered, and I will give maybe in a probational time to operate as a short-term rental. And I don't know what else I've done. I've taken important measures. I think at this point, as much I can done. I cannot control tenants, the guests, but what's on my end, I have done, and I message them separately that the music is not allowed, and they respond me back that they understand this. Thank you.
Okay. No, nothing else?
I don't know what to say, because I understand the violation. We have 3 violations, and that's against the regulations. I completely understand. I take the responsibility, but also I took measures to prevent this from happening in the future. And I just want to ask to be reconsidered this and might give me back the opportunity to operate under the short-term rental.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Board Secretary, are there any commenters?
No, there's not.
Okay. So we're going to close this part of the public hearing, and now we'll open it up for discussion among the board if they have any questions for you. Any board members?
When did you install the sound detection device? Was it after the first or the second, or after
It was the 3rd.
After the 3rd violation?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other
And
questions?
also we signed up with the company additionally to that they are monitoring on their end, the voice, regulations.
So you actually manage the property yourself?
Yes.
Okay. So in a lot of the documents that you probably signed for short-term rentals, it had guidelines in there probably for noise abatement and all that stuff. And you probably didn't get a chance to read it, so, but, okay, all right. I am going to now, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to discuss it among ourselves, so you can go sit back there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. This is a common issue that we face a lot of the times, and unfortunately, again, we have to fall back on the city regulations, whether or not there's a violation. And based on that, I believe there's a violation. There is a violation.
Yeah, we can't really do selective enforcement, it's just there a violation.
We cannot.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, for example, board, if I may, if, the appellant came and said, this third violation, there wasn't a noise violation, and I have proof because these are the videos or these are this, the noise wasn't, I had this monitor and it said that it wasn't above this level, et cetera. Some type of evidence that discredits this violation, then the board would be like, hey, that's what the board is here for, to determine that based off of that evidence presented, that, hey, this violation does not meet the standard that is in the municipal code, there's not sufficient evidence to support a violation, then the board would say, okay, we're not going to uphold this, and there wouldn't be the suspension. But yeah, it's difficult. I know it's difficult, and I think that's what a lot of the appellants come to this hearing and don't realize, that it's like they're coming and they're admitting. It's like court. You come and you admit, hey, I broke the law. It's strict liability. It's just like speeding. Some people say, hey, well, I was only going 71 miles per hour. Speed limit 70. You still admitted to breaking the law, right? That's what's happening here that I see, is that a lot of appellants come and say, well, yes, we broke the law, but this.
Yeah, we get that.
Yeah.
We get that a lot, and a lot of these stories are just about human
Errors.
nature and human error and understandable activity, and yet we have a very strict statute. We have a very strict ordinance that gives us, unfortunately, most, if not all of the time, no wiggle room, no discretion. So.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
It's my turn.
I'll make a motion that we uphold the 2-year suspension and the fine. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. Board Secretary, can you take the vote, please?
Chair Basili?
Aye.
Board Member Barbato?
Aye.
Board Member Faulkner?
Aye.
Board Member Hein?
Aye.
Board Member Corinne?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0 to adopt the resolution upholding the administrative decision.
Okay, this won't stop you from renting the property long-term, but right now, short-term, you cannot. So
Sorry.
the city will be in touch with you.
Okay,
Thank you so much for your time.
thank you, thank you.
Okay. The next section is the approval of the minutes for April 15th. Can I get a motion to approve? And I don't remember, I don't think I was here.
Did we have a quorum?
Yeah, that was the one where the gentleman walked in and walked out.
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, we expected
Yeah.
That one.
Gone with the Wind and
And it fizzled. It was a light breeze.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
I'll move that we approve the minutes.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I wasn't here.
You can vote as long as you read the minutes.
I read the minutes. Did you read
I
the
read
minutes?
the minutes.
Okay, then you can vote.
I'll second.
Okay. Board Secretary.
Board Member Hein?
Aye.
Board Member Corinne?
Aye.
Board Member Barbato?
Abstain.
Board Member Faulkner?
Abstain.
And Chair Basili?
Aye.
Motion carries 302 to approve the minutes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Next section is, portion of the meeting is set aside for general comments, announcements, requests from the staff, or other issues of concern from members of the Administrative Appeals Board. And I know we probably do have a lot, but.
Well, this was the meeting that I hoped we would have sort of the old guard here, not just our new folks, and welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
Baptism by fire.
It was a good one.
Yeah, you sort of you saw a lot.
Yeah.
But something that's kind of been in the hopper that started probably last winter is this idea, it is a strict liability statute. We don't have discretion, really any. That doesn't mean that we haven't occasionally voted in a different way, but we have no discretion. And we've been toying, some of us, with the idea of building something into our ordinance that gives us a little more discretion under some circumstances. I think council has sent us in the past some language from neighboring cities or other cities with short-term vacation rental ordinances that do have analogous appeal type boards that can consider things.
Yeah.
That might give them a little more discretion. I think it can be a Pandora's box. I don't know, and I've given it a lot of thought, but I don't think we should have a full discussion on this until two things happen. Two things happen. I want the whole board to be here, especially the people that have been here a while and seen some of the issues. But secondly, I don't think we go anywhere until we make sure that our city council is willing to even listen to the idea.
Well, there was both myself and Vice Chair put together a proposal for the city. And this has been an ongoing request. No, you know about it because we all discussed it about.
They were the ad hoc committee.
Right, the ad hoc committee.
Oh, but that was, okay, go ahead.
And the whole idea behind the ad hoc committee was to make suggestions to the city to make things a little easier. And that's for the folks that are entertaining the idea of buying a property for short-term rental, how maybe we could help in the sense, not us as a board, but how they could create a document that could be submitted by the agents, that's given by a real estate agent, also by the title company, just to reinforce the idea that if you're going to entertain the idea of using this property as a short-term rental, you need to contact the city and follow the rules and regulations before you decide to just put it up on the market and rent it, and then end up sitting here in front of us with a violation and not ever. So that's been an ongoing thing, not only for our term as board members, but for the previous board members as well.
Right, but I think of that as something different. That is more about educating the public so that we get fewer people coming in going, I didn't know. I'm talking about cases like the first two we had here today where
I don't even want to be responsible for something.
And that's fine, but I think there are a few on the board that want, I know that Richard, who I saw at the dinner, Richard, who is a newish board member, he said we have to have more discretion. And I said, maybe, but I don't even want to talk about it if the city council is going to go, no, we meant what we said however many years ago.
Yeah.
When you were on the board, maybe it was before I was, when they said, you guys are being too loose, you guys are being too soft.
Well, yeah, I think if we were to do something like that, I mean, yeah, it's up to the city again. The city, well, and there's two parts to that. The city has to protect themselves, but they also have to protect us because we're board members and we're making those decisions. That would require the attorney to always, every time something was to come up, we would have to have the attorney right here consulting us constantly. And it becomes a slippery slope because we have to follow guidelines. And right now, the way it's set up, and I agree with you, it's in my opinion, it is unfair. It's not unfair, it's unequal. It's unbalanced how the situation is put in our hands because we agreed when we sat on the board to follow these guidelines.
Yes.
That's what we agreed. We
Yes.
signed off on it. We said we would find. So we can't argue that. But if we want to change it, yes, I mean, there could be some changes. It's up to the city in regards to whether or not they're going to make those changes. But then they have to figure out how to make those changes so that we don't end up in court. You know, I mean, it becomes a slippery slope. We're not attorneys.
I don't disagree.
We're sitting on a board.
I don't disagree, but I think we should wait until we're all here to decide whether we even want to discuss it any further. I'm fine if we don't, but there were other people with other thoughts about it.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. I think you're, the discussion can be opened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But can we
put it
table
on
it?
the agenda for,
What do you think, Ed? What,
my feeling is that we overturned one not too long ago, and then we're pretty much in agreement. This couple that had been renting for 25 years, and
Careful what you say.
and it was a clerical error.
yeah.
And that was technically a violation,
And
and
we
yet it was
overturned.
3-2
Okay, yeah.
to overturn the
No, I think
violation.
we were pretty.
Which is kind of, there's this idea, council knows about this, called jury nullification, which is where everybody agrees with what the law is, but then you decide not to follow it. And
So-
that's dangerous, and I'm not advocating that. But when that's your only alternative in that sort of case, I don't know. Let's table it.
So there's a
Okay.
a recommendation that we can create an ad hoc committee, and whoever wants to be on that committee can talk to the mayor prior to our next meeting, and then from there, we can decide whether or not we want to put
Yeah,
it on the
but
agenda.
we should wait until David is back and Richard is back before we decide who's on the ad hoc.
You can have two people on ad hoc. You could decide it today if you want.
Yeah, but he might.
If you don't want to, then we'll just wait till the next time, and we can
I think Richard would want to be on that
And so
committee.
can we decide it's the two of them?
yeah, no, we can't. But it would be nice if we could do
I
that.
mean, I'm happy to do it, but I know
Wake-
that Richard
Wake up and say,
has
okay,
strong
here you are.
feelings about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
You can always
Richard
appoint her
served
and
on-
Richard, and then if Richard has anything, just
Richard,
as the board, you guys decided.
Do you think
Llewellyn?
Richard would be okay with that if we appoint?
I mean, I didn't ask him, but I know how he feels about it,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's something he wants to pursue and he's not on the
Well, how about if
committee.
we just do that? Why don't we just we appoint you and Richard, and if for some reason Richard doesn't want to do it, he'll let
Yeah.
Casey know, and then we'll just,
And then you'll
we'll
do
just
it.
can it.
No. Okay. Oh, okay.
No, I mean, I've been working with, I
I
think.
know.
I think
You
there should
put
be
so
another,
much time
there should be
into that.
another board member that wants to participate in the ad hoc committee.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm under the agreement that I signed an agreement by the city that said, if you want to sit on this board, this is the rules and regulations you're gonna
Exactly.
follow. I agreed to do that.
Exactly.
So-
If Richard doesn't want to do it, who else here today would want to do it?
well, the only reason I'm deferring to Laurie and Richard sat on commissions in Los Angeles,
Yes,
far bigger
I
city
agree.
than we did,
I
and
agree.
Laurie has the legal experience. I think they're probably the best two to do it. If Richard decides he doesn't want to do it, I mean, I'm happy to voice my opinions as long as I have someone with some legal
Okay,
experience.
so we're gonna appoint,
Okay.
at this point, Laura Hine and Richard Llewellyn
Yeah.
as ad hoc to discuss the ordinance.
But if Richard doesn't want to do it, I'm fine not pursuing it. It's just that I know, if we're gonna talk about it at all, we need to talk to the city.
I think
Okay.
it's a good thing that you want to do that. I think absolutely.
Yeah, there's no harm in
Okay.
asking.
And like I said, you can meet with the mayor pro tem and kind of get there, because next year the mayor pro tem is gonna be the mayor. So if he
Right, so
doesn't
how
want
does
to
that
hear
work?
it,
Do you have to get on their
I'll
schedule?
send their assistant email
Great.
and let them know what the goal is.
Okay.
But yeah, at least you can then talk to them and see where the city's,
Okay,
if they're even willing to
If they're-
entertain it. If they're not, then you don't have to waste your
Great.
time.
And by
that's
the
the
way,
threshold question.
Mr. Wade is left, but you can't buy Google reviews.
You can or cannot?
You cannot.
Are they,
Okay,
Off
that,
record.
yeah, we don't need to discuss it now, yeah.
we need a motion on that item.
Okay, so I make a motion that we create an ad hoc committee with, and can you put the names on?
Yep. Okay. Ad hoc with Laura and Richard to discuss the vacation rental administrative appeals board ordinance.
Yes,
Okay.
that's vague, but,
Motion.
yeah, that's fine.
I'll make a motion. Can I get a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay.
Chair Vasili?
Aye.
Board Member Corin?
Aye.
Board Member Barbato?
Aye.
Board Member Faulkner?
Aye.
And Board Member Hine?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you. Okay. Next part, this time is set aside for the city attorney to update the board on important matters initiated by staff or previously requested by the board.
Nothing to report right now, just, we have a repeat of the issues that go on here, and I know it's difficult, and I know there's a lot of emotional people, and I know there's a lot of great people that come in, and it's difficult for the board, but I do want to remind the board that it is strict liability, and if the board can choose to like not uphold it, but then it could open this board to liability, the city to liability in the future. And that's what I want to try to prevent, right? Because I do remember specifically that one item in the past that was not, the violation was not upheld, and it was against my advice, right? Because I advised this board to uphold the violation, but you know, it's not. I don't want to get in that position again, right? I don't want this board to get in a position where they are picking and choosing. And so if having that discussion with City Council to amend the ordinance and municipal code to allow for more discretion is something that this board believes would be of good service to the board and to the city, then that's why we have these options, right? That's why the municipal code does state, hey, and it's very clear, the municipal code says the board, even if the board disagrees with, you know, the violation,
Understood.
they have to uphold it. If they have any disagreements with what is being upheld, then that's why they can bring it to discussion to the city council. And I know it's hard. I've been in a couple of these meetings.
No, I'm a hard ass. I don't, I have, one time ever have I.
No, I know it's hard,
Yeah.
but like in cases like the funds of the historic renovation.
And
I mean,
yeah.
usually I'm just not a nice person. I'm not.
And so like Commissioner, for example, I won't our office is not going to say, Commission, do this, right? We're not going to say, Commissioners do this. We're going to say, Commission, this is what the law says. You guys decide. You know, we're not going to advise you to do this or not do this. It's up to you. But that's what I'm here for. And so if there's a legal issue or a legal matter that you're confused about, or if the law's not clear, I'm here to answer it as best as I can.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, then next meeting is,
July 15th at 2 p.m. And we do have an onboard refresher training, onboard for the newbies, and then refresher training if other commissioners want to go. June 22nd, here at 11 a.m.
Is it required?
It is not required. For the new
Right.
board members, it's highly advised.
It's going to explain to us how everything works.
Yes, Brown Act, what you can and can't do.
I just learned it all today already.
Yeah, so with the training, it'll talk about like, if there's 3 of you in a room together, that's considered a quorum, so you can't speak about what just happened in the meeting, because now you're speaking as a quorum. So there's things like that where, like if there's 2 of you, then you're not a quorum and it's not as severe, but it's, you know.
No gossiping in the parking lot.
well, if you do, just make sure you're far enough away from
It's,
it.
yeah,
And my plan is to join that via Zoom. I can.
Yes,
right?
yep, there's a Zoom option. Yeah, especially since you guys already did your oath and everything, you're set, and then you'll need to do your Form 700s, I think we sent you. And then ethics training has to be done within the first year of appointment, and then once every 2 years.
and is this your last meeting with us?
You're done?
We'll go off record.
Yeah.
We're adjourned.
Are you
We're
gonna have
adjourned,
your-
yeah.
are you